Today, we are looking at three specific stocks in which FIIs have significantly increased their stake on a year on year basis. Now, two of these stocks are absolute gold mines and have shown a strong reversal from their support levels and are ready for a good up move. But the third stock, it is one of the most hyped metal stocks right now. FIIs are buying it, but the DIIs, domestic institutions, are quietly heading for an exit. So it is a classic trap that retail investors are walking right into. So let's decode the data and find out what you should actually do with these three stocks in which FIIs have increased their position in. And if you're new to this channel, this is Sanika, MD and research analyst at Rangavan Finance. And now let's begin the analysis. Now, the first company is one of the very few undervalued stocks in the affordable housing space. And if you take a look at their recent shareholding pattern, you might have panicked. Now, the promoter holding visually crashed from around 53% to just under 24%. But here is the myth versus reality moment. The founder did not sell a single share. An early private equity investor, Westbridge, recently exited their 16% stake, and this triggered a reclassification. And who bought those shares? The smart money. FII holding jumped year on year from 27.7% to over 30.3%. And domestic institutions have also bought aggressively, increasing their stake to more than 29%. So today, nearly 60% of this company is held by strong institutional hands, which is a very good sign. Now look at their Q4 FY26 numbers. They reported their highest ever quarterly disbursement of 1,242 crores, and their profit after tax grew by a massive 26% year on year. But the real story is how they are growing. Has completely stopped sourcing loans below 7 lakh rupees. So they are deliberately walking away from extreme high yield, high risk micro loans and moving towards much safer, slightly larger mortgages. So, what does this mean for you? It means highly predictable, stable compounding growth. Now they are lending at around 17% and borrowing at just 8.1%. Now that difference is huge. And despite having an industry leading return on asset of 7.9% and return on equity of over 20%, the stock trades at a PE ratio of just 14.6, whereas peers like Home First Finance is trading at 23. So this is a classic growth at a reasonable price opportunity. And I am talking about Aptus Value Housing Finance. So if you are holding the stock, do not sell it. But if you are not holding it, then this is a prime candidate to accumulate on dips. Wait, before we get to the second stock, let me ask you a question. If a company reports its highest ever annual profits and the FIIs have increased their stake by 6% in a single year, then it is a blind buy, right? Wrong. Let me show you why the second stock is a perfect example of why you cannot just read the headlines FIIs are buying and blindly buy the stock. Now, on paper, the second stock looks like an absolute dream. Zero debt, 8,400 crores in pure cash sitting in their bank account. And FIIs have aggressively increased their stake year on year from 15.8% to 22.28%. And yes, they just reported their highest ever annual profits of 5,816 crores. Sounds like a no-brainer for right? But as a research analyst, it is my job to look under the hood. And what I found in their Q4 FY26 results is alarming. First red flag. While the full year sales were just okay, their last 3 years sales growth has been very low, around 8%, and this year just 6%. The growth is decelerating exactly when the market expects acceleration. Stock is near all time high with a powerful rally. And to sustain this, growth needs to be strong, which I don't see. So risk on the downside is high over here. Now the second red flag. Their chemical segment, historically a cash cow, saw profits crash by 70% in Q4 due to global oversupply of alumina from Indonesian refineries. But what about their aluminium segment, you might ask? Yes, it grew 37%. But why? Because global aluminium prices hit 4-year high due to geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, like missile strikes on smelters and closure of shipping routes. So the second stock that I am talking about is Nalco, and aluminium pricing is completely out of Nalco's control. So if geopolitical tensions ease tomorrow, aluminium prices could crash 20 to 30%, taking Nalco's only growth engine down with it. And the most important thing, remember how FIs were buying? Well, the domestic institutional investors, the fund managers sitting right here in India who track this company quarter after quarter, who know the ground reality, are doing the exact opposite. DII stake dropped from 15.7% to just 10.7%, and mutual fund holdings fell from 9.4% to 6.2%. The local smart money is exiting while foreign money is entering, and at a price to book ratio of nearly 3.4 and PE of 13, Nalco is priced for absolute perfection. So, for a cyclical commodity stock, that is exceptionally expensive. An analyst consensus target is just 403 rupees, which is virtually zero upside from current levels. So, if you're sitting on good gains in this stock, it would be wise to book around 30 to 40% of your gains and put strict trailing stop losses on the rest. So, do not buy the stock just because the FIIs are buying. Risk is really high on this stock, and once the stock starts falling, it won't stop. So we have seen a hidden gem and we have seen a value trap. But what if I tell you there is a bank that is hiding its true profitability on purpose? Now this bank is deliberately sacrificing short-term numbers to build a multi-decade empire. So here is our third stock. Now in this stock, FIIs have massively increased their stake year on year, jumping from 25.6% to a massive 36.5%. And that is nearly 11 percentage in a single year. And they are not the only ones. The domestic mutual funds are also quietly accumulating. Now, if you look at their headlines, Q4 FY26 profit, it grew by just 4.9% year on year. And at first glance, that may look disappointing, but that headline number does not tell the full story. And I am talking about IDFC First Bank. Recently, there was a one time fraud at a single branch in Haryana, a rogue employee situation. And to completely clean it up, the bank took a massive 483 crore post tax hit in one quarter. And if you strip out that one time non recurring charge, then their normalized profit actually grew by an explosive 145%. Let that sink in. 145%. But the real magic of the third stock lies in the metric called cost to income ratio. And right now it is sitting at an elevated 73.5%. Why? Because they are spending heavily to build out their retail branch network from 206 branches at merger to over 1147 branches today. And their retail liability business is currently loss making because it costs more to run new branches than what they earn from deposits initially. But the key insight is that management has clearly guided that over the next 4 to 5 years, this ratio will drop to around 55%. But why does this matter to you? Because every single 1% drop in that cost ratio adds approximately 294 crores straight to their operating profits. So the math is staggering. And meanwhile, their core lending engine is already generating a massive 13 plus percent yield with credit cost falling below 2%. Their asset quality is at its best level and gross NPA at just 1.61% and net NPA at 0.48%. So the engine is pristine. And who else believes in this story? Warburg Pincus and Abu Dhabi's Sovereign Wealth Fund ADIA invested 7,500 crores at these levels. Now, these are some of the most sophisticated investors on this planet. Technically speaking, the stock has corrected nearly 30% and has spent the last 2.5 years consolidating. It is currently trading at a price to book ratio of just 1.27, which says that the valuation is reasonable. This means the downside appears limited, but if the business performance improves, then the upside potential can be significant. And if you have a long term investment horizon of around 2 to 3 years, then this stock can be accumulated in the range of 60 to 68 rupees. So, what is the bottom line for your portfolio? See, if you're looking for stable compounding growth at a cheap valuation, then Aptus Value Housing Finance is your pick. But if you're looking for a multi year turnaround story where the worst is already priced in, then IDFC First Bank is screaming value. But if you are looking at Nalco, then be very careful because FII buying is masking all of the deteriorating earnings quality and massive geopolitical dependency. So remember that FII data is a compass and not a GPS. You still have to drive the car yourself. And if you found this kind of deep dive helpful, then do three things. First, like this video. Second, hype this video. And third, subscribe to the channel if you do not want to miss more such videos. And as always, this was Sanika from Rangavan Finance, where your growth is our priority. And I will see you very soon in the next one. Till then, bye bye.